love pancakes, and nothing goes better with pancakes than some maple syrup. Today I'm at Sprague's Maple Farms in Cattaraugus County to find out how this sweet treat is made. Hi there,
Hello.
I'm Jordan.
Hi Jordan, I'm Randy Sprague. I'm the sugar maker here at Sprague's Maple Farms. We're delighted to have you join us today, so looking forward to showing you around. We've actually been making some maple syrup already this year, so we'll be able to show you today because we are actually in production now with our season this year. So I think we have my wife Tony is waiting outside. She's actually going to take you into our sugar bush, into our maple woods, and show you around today.
Awesome, I better get going then.
Okay, good luck. We'll see you when you come back.
So Tony, I couldn't help but notice all the blue tubes on the property. What are these?
This is our branch line. This is how you actually get your sap from your tree. That's why it's called tapping. We tap the trees. They take the spiles, they drill a hole into the tree, they take a hammer and they just literally go tap, tap, tap with the spile. Then that's attached to our branch line. The smaller branch line, Jordan, then goes into our main line, which is a bigger tubing. All of the main line goes down into our holding tanks at the tree at the bottom of the hill. Then the boys will go, they'll gather from our holding tanks. The smaller ones they'll do with our tankers, and then it all goes into the main building where Randy will start the filtration process, and then we start to boil the sap into the syrup. So that'll be our next step. So Jordan, this is our antique sugar house, and this is where we, during our season, will start our production and our demonstrations in regards to the tours that we'll do. So if you would like to go in.
All right, let's get going.
Let's go. And Jordan, this is our antique sugar house. So it's all from wood that we made on the property when we first built the buildings. And this is our antique evaporator. It's a wood-fired evaporator. The demonstrations that we do here are wonderful during the actual production. The room will be filled with steam. It'll be going up into the cupolas. The children will come up here. You know, they'll line up. They get really excited when they see the sap bubbling and boiling or whatever. So it's really just a warm, cozy place, and they love the smell. That sweet smell of the syrup, you know, that's coming off from the evaporator. As I had mentioned, once the syrup comes off from the evaporator, then it typically goes through a filter press. This was an antique filter press where if you lifted the lid, you would see there's a screen, there would be a felt in there, you'd pour the hot syrup there, and then it would go down through and it'd go into your drum or barrel. This is a little more modern, it's still pretty antique-y. Nothing like what Randy's using down in the big sugar house. But that will filter the sugar sand out of your syrup so you have that nice crystal clear syrup rather than the, you know, the cloudy or whatever. And do you like donuts?
I love donuts.
Then you want to come this way. This is another fun area for us when we're doing our demonstrations and have our festivals. It's just a little homemade donut maker, and it will just flop them right out there, and the folks just love to come and have those hot, sugary maple cake donuts. So
that sounds delicious.
now I think if you're ready, we've pretty much covered everything here. We can go down and we can see Randy down at the big sugar house.
That sounds great. Let's
Okay,
get going.
all right.
And Jordan, this is where we actually start our maple process. We're using an RO machine here today, and this is really the workhorse of any modern day sugar house. This particular unit will process almost 4,000 gallons of sap an hour. Comes from our big bulk tanks out back. We are processing today, as you can see, and after we remove the water here, the concentrated sap goes up above to our storage tank. As we move the concentrate up above, it passes over to our evaporator, and as you can see, we've got this running as well. This evaporator is processing about 600 gallons of this concentrated sap per hour, turning what was once a water-like sap into our golden-colored amber syrup. And as you can see, we're boiling right along here. And this is a continuous operation, so as we boil, the sap is constantly turning into syrup. As it does that, and we move over into this side, we have to monitor the temperature of the syrup as it comes closer to being ready. The automatic draw we have here is showing the actual temperature of the syrup pan, so that we're drawing today at 219.4 degrees. Now the numbers just matched, which means the valve opens and starts to draw syrup into this tank here. And then I have to get around as the sugar maker and make sure it's coming off at the right density, and that's what we'll do next here. Once we have syrup coming off the evaporator, I rely on the temperature to get me really close, but this instrument is a hydrometer, and this measures the specific gravity of the syrup. As I put it into the tank, I can tell by the way it floats right to this top red line that we have perfect syrup. So once we have that ready, we're ready to pump right through our filter press. This is a 10-inch filter press, very common in a lot of sugar houses throughout the area. And it takes the syrup out of the tank, runs it through this entire press, and right over into our stainless steel drums. Now we'll do this throughout the season and store most of our syrup in barrels like this because we like to be able to come back and use the syrup throughout the year. Obviously we can only produce syrup in the spring of the year, but at Sprague's we use the syrup year round. First of all, we need about 2,000 gallons to put on our pancakes all year long, which hopefully we can get to try later on. And then secondly, we use the syrup that we bottle at least once a week here at Sprague's. And we ship it all over the country. We export into Europe, we export into Belgium, and from there they distribute into France and Germany and Belgium for us. So it's kind of exciting. And we could go over and probably take a look here now at our finished product coming in here. And this is what all that work that we do up in the woods ends up looking like.
Wow.
That's the pretty good stuff there.
Oh, that's delicious.
All right.
All right, Randy. I can't take it anymore. I gotta try some of this stuff.
I was hoping you'd say that because we've got some that we just made here a few minutes ago, and we'll show you that here. So one thing that we have the ability to do here when we get folks visiting on days we're making syrup like this, it's such a treat for me to offer them syrup that's just so fresh. I mean, literally in the trees just sometimes hours ago, through the evaporator and right out as fresh as you're ever going to get it, and then to give them a chance to taste it. And as you'll know, there we go, it's still quite warm. Ooh. So it's nice and tasty, so give that a try.
Oh my gosh.
That's when it's the best. That's when it's the best. You know, there's two kinds of syrup there. There's a syrup that you use for your pancakes, so of course we call that the pancake syrup. And then there's drinking syrup. This is drinking syrup.
I could drink this all day.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Wow. Thank you so much, Randy, for taking the time
thanks
to
for the visit, and this helps you understand a lot about what we do as our maple side of this operation.
Awesome. Let's get a pile of pancakes.
All right, that sounds like a great idea. All right, here we go. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Randy.
I'm glad to bring you one of our house specialties today. I know you've been talking about maple all day, and this is one of our favorites. It's our Berries on a Cloud. It's a Belgian waffle with our homemade maple whipped cream, fresh fruits, and of course our homemade signature maple sausage.
Oh, wow.
So hope you get a chance to enjoy that.
I've got to dig into
this. It's
this.
a good one. That's one of the good ones. All right.
That has to be the best waffle I've ever had.
Oh, we're glad that you enjoy it. I hope you really do enjoy, and hope you come back soon, okay? Thanks so much for visiting with us.
Absolutely, Randy. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. Thanks.